All right. Good evening, USA, International, Canada, Long Island, aka Strong Island, plus the five spots of Brooklyn, Bronx, Manhattan, Staten Island, Queens. This is your man G Money Stacks, aka the Gregonator, YouTuber, host with the most, the man who hosts the back doors of the Q5 and N24 buses, unstoppable independent podcaster, and of course, Queens, New York native, also a New York Mets fan from Laurelton, Queens, New York. And yes, you're now listening, rocking, streaming, and watching the 77th episode of the Sports Edition show. Excellent, fun, vibrant talks podcast. I know, long time no see, man. Add, I had to actually, you know, I had to really sort through some things that's been going on with me. And in case you're wondering, I'm not using the Instagram live feed because I had a little issue with a scammer who tried to actually try to rip me off out of my hard-earned money over an Amazon Prime account, which I did not order anything. And for those of you that's been dealing with scammers and whatnot, I want to let you know something. If you see a text message, phone number, or anything like that that you don't know whatsoever, that's a scammer, delete it right away. Because you don't want nobody messing around with your hard-earned money. And I'm just gonna digress on that shit too. But anyway, man, um, you can follow the sports podcast on Threads and Instagram. Be sure to turn your notifications and all that other stuff. I will try my best to actually do a little makeup Instagram live feed so I can do a little recap on the episodes that I just did. So we'll see how that goes though. But anyway, man. Anyway, if you're new to the YouTube channel space, all you need to do is go ahead and grab the subscribe button from me, and of course be sure to enable alerts so you can know when each live episode podcast recordings is going to start, along with the date, day, and time. And leave a like and a comment along with the sports topics that's being discussed. Tell me what you think and all that great stuff right there. And also be sure to, if you missed out on any episodes whatsoever, new episodes that's going to be dropped, of course. For those of you who may not know, new episodes going to be dropping Wednesdays and Thursdays. After I record this, I am going to drop off episode 76. So, yeah. And of course, you can catch up on the episodes on every streaming platforms, including YouTube, wherever you listen and get your podcasts. All right. And I got y'all with some Mets fan fanatics who also cover the Mets and stuff. I'll cover the YouTube channels at the end of this show right here. Now, all right. So now that I got that out the way, what do you say we go to? Hang on 1 second. We're gonna go to hold on a second. What the hell's going on here? Hold on a minute. I don't know what's going on here. Yeah, here it is. Trying to find it. That's not it. Yes, the Quick Side Bleacher Bar, man. This is where I get into some sports topics involving other sports news, like your baseballs, your basketballs, your football news and stuff. But because I'm covering the New York Mets and stuff, which is what I'm going to be doing, and we got some topics to get into right here, man. Let's get into it. All right, we need to start off with some sad news, man, regarding Willie Mays. As I was watching one of the Mets baseball games, Willie Mays has passed away, according to um, Sports Illustrated. Um, so Willie Mays touched the lives of millions of baseball fans, and on Monday at Oracle Park, the San Francisco Giants celebrated the Hall of Famer's legacy with thousands in attendance. The celebration of Mays' life, which came 3 weeks after his death on June 8th at age 93, which was a month ago, actually, if you will, came on an off day for the Giants, who start a series on Tuesday against Toronto. That allowed current Giants to attend the ceremony, which was open to the public and lasted approximately 2 hours. NBC Sports Bay Area estimated the crowd at 4,500. Figures from May's life were present throughout the ceremony. His godson and Giants legend Barry Bonds was one of many to speak about Mays' legacy in baseball and in life. Mays' son Michael provided the final remarks of the event. Bonds referenced that while clearing up the origins of a photo that circulated on social media shortly after Mays' passing. Hold on. A former U.S. president was among the speakers. Bill Clinton, who was not announced as an attendee, gave a near 15-minute speech that roused the crowd on several occasions as he talked about Mays did for him growing up as a child in Arkansas. Line rap that I think we can. Sorry about that. That's not what I meant to do. Willie Mays gave me the chance to realize what real greatness is, Clinton said. End quote. It's a curious combination of intelligence, dedication, the will to win, and the fundamental humility to believe that the efforts is the prize, a gift he leaves us all with, and that I hope we can all share and cherish. I do apologize for that. I was trying to close that out. I was trying to put it on mute. Um, yeah. So another U.S. President, Barack Obama, provided a recorded message. Um, Another recorded message. He says on X, in a special message, former President Barack Obama reflects on Willie Mays' impact on baseball and the world at large. Among the former teammates in attendance were Felipe Alou, who later became a manager, along with Joe Amalfitano, Commissioner Rob Manfred, and Hall of Fame manager Joe Torre represented Major League Baseball. Along with current Giants, there were former Giants players in attendance, including Buster Posey, Hunter Pence, Sergio Romo, and Avia Lopez. An array of Hall of Famers also attended, including Reggie Jackson, Dennis Eckersley, Dave Stewart, and Ricky Henderson. The families of three Giants Hall of Famers also attended: Orlando Cepeda, Willie McCovey, and Gaylord Perry. Um, Cepeda passed away a few days after Mays. The Giants are also wearing a number 24 patch on their jerseys the rest of the season, and all players wore number 24 jerseys in a home game shortly after they returned home. Mays was signed by the the Giants while they were still in New York, and he started his major league career in 1952. He spent the vast majority of the career with the Giants before he was traded to the New York Mets in 1972, where he finished his career in 1973. Mays was a 24-time All-Star, a 2-time National League MVP, the National League Rookie of the Year, a 12-time Gold Glove winner, a 302 career hitter with 3,293 hits and 660 home runs. He was elected to the Hall of Fame in 1979, and his number 24 is retired by both the Giants and the Mets. So now SIP to Willie Mays. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how he. I'm not really sure how he died. Let me see. Let me see something here. Um, this is crazy. I didn't even see this coming. I didn't even see this coming. Wait a minute here. Hold on 1 second. Um, the hell's going? I don't even know. I'm trying to look for something, folks. I'm sorry. Yeah. Yeah. I don't think there's any specific illness that was reported. So I'm just gonna leave it at that, though. SIP to Willie Mays. Anyway, let's get into um. Let's see. Let's lighten things up here, man. All right, so let's talk. Hang on a second. Let's talk. Wait a second. Let's talk Francisco Lindor, not letting the snub distract him. All right. So, according to Sports Illustrated, ESPN had their All-Star selection shown on Sunday night for reserve players. And as a surprise, the New York Mets only had one player selected, which was Pete Alonso, who also plans on competing in the Home Run Derby, was the only player to earn a nod on the Mets. Francisco Lindor is the clear snuff from the All-Star game as the 30-year-old has clearly been one of the best players in baseball throughout the season. New York likely got penalized for their lack of team success, which often happens. However, Lindor has been good enough for the team to get a second player in Arlington, Texas. Lindor spoke to reporters. Uh, he spoke to reporters after not being named to the team, showing some frustration on the decision. And he's like, "Yeah, I mean, I guess I gotta have a better April." Lindor smiled after saying that, as he was clearly joking. He talked about wanting to play in the game and gave a congratulations for Alonso being selected. "That's not up to me," Lindor said. "That's up to the people who actually vote for all of this. I would love to go. I would love to go, yeah. But I'm happy for Pete. Like I said, he definitely deserves it. It's going to be a great show for him and his family. I think the All-Star Game, to me, is the best event of the summer. His stats speak for themselves, as he's on pace for a 30-30 season before the All-Star break. Lindor is slashing 244, 310, 441 with 15 home runs, 25 doubles, 43 RBIs, and 16 stolen bases. It's also the third straight season that he has an OPS above 115, as he sits at 117 in that statistic. If Lindor made the team, someone else would had to be left off. Trey Turner might have been the player he should have gotten in over, as Turner has only played in 50 games due to dealing with an injury, while the Philadelphia Phillies star has played well and is undoubtedly one of the best in baseball. Getting in despite only playing 50 games and is questionable. Lindor now hasn't made an All-Star game since the 2019 season, which was 2 years before he joined the Mets. There wasn't an All-Star game in 2020 due to the COVID slamdemic. But Lindor's absence from the All-Star game is a good indication of why awards don't tell the whole story of a player. One could argue that he hasn't been as dominant since coming to New York, but not having an All-Star nod in that time frame doesn't make much sense. Well, look, I can tell you this though, man. He's not letting all that distract him, okay? All he's focused on is trying to play good baseball. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, he's one of the greatest shortstops that I ever seen on the Mets so far. So he's not letting that get to him, man. So he's not sweating it that much. So all right. All right. So let's get into, okay, what's next? Let's see. All right. Speaking of All Stars, let's do some highlights from the All Star game. Hold on a second. Hang on 1 second. Let me see. Hold on a second here. Hold on. All right, so let's get into the highlights. All right. So 9 best moments from the star-studded Midsummer Classic in Texas. Um, so the night started out with the Titanic Paul Skeens versus Aaron Judge matchup, of which the baseball world had dreamed, dazzled with a tiny homer the brightest under the game's brightest lights and heated up with Mason Miller throwing the hardest track pitch in a midsummer classic. But in a tightly contested 94th edition of the All-Star Game on Tuesday night, it was Jarren Duran's two-run blast in the fifth inning that broke a tie and sent the AL to a 5-3 victory under the bright lights of Globe Life Field, which united baseball fans for several days to partake in a distinctly Texas flavored series of festivities showcasing the game's brightest talent. Um, yeah, this is the 94th. This is the 94th game day. AL tops NL 5-3 in the 94th All Star game. Yeah, Duran named All-Star Game MVP, best moments from the All-Star Game. Let's take a look at that. Just talked the wait, just talked about this. Anyway, so here are some of the highlights that stood out most from Tuesday's Midsummer Classic. Number one, Phenom Paul Skeens versus slugger Aaron Judge. This was the epic matchup the baseball world really wanted to see. The game's premier power pitcher and the game's premier power hitter colliding in arguably the highest profile matchup imaginable at the Midsummer Classic. It's a matchup that's needed some help to actually occur. Giving Judge was hitting fourth in the AL's starting lineup, but Juan Soto had personally guaranteed on Monday that he'd make it happen, and that he did, drawing a walk off Skeens after fouling off a pitch off Globe Life Field's roof to set up the matchup of Titans. And it was over in the blink of an eye. Skeens went right after Judge with his big fastball, firing 99.7 miles per hour middle in that rolled in on Judge's hands. And MLB's home run leader chopped it to third base, giving Alec Bohm an easy third out. That wrapped up a 16-pitch scoreless inning for the 22-year-old sensation as Skeens officially became the first rookie pitcher to start an All-Star game since Hideo Nomo in 1995. You've got to be aggressive with a guy like that who's throwing up to 100 plus. Judge said, "It was my job to try to drill something up. It was fun. Mark your calendars. The Pirates will finish their regular season at Yankee Stadium from September. Hold on. From September 27th to the 29th, when Judge could. Why is it doing that? Hold up. When Judge could get his chance for redemption. Here we go. Let me see. Blinking here. Redemption. Oh boy. Hold on. Number two, Duran demolishes one. We all get by with a little help from our friends. Jaron Duran may be the American League leader in doubles, 27, 27 doubles and 10 triples. But it's the home run power that showed up in a big way in the midsummer classic, smashing a center cut splitter from Hunter Green, an estimated 413 feet to deep right center to snap a fifth inning tie and give the AL a 5-3 lead that would stand up. It was the first big fly by a Red Sox player in the Midsummer Classic since Adrian Gonzalez in 2011, and it helped Duran bail out Red Sox teammate Tanner Hoke, who had given up the three-run blast to Shohei Ohtani that opened the scoring in the third inning. It also earned Duran the game's MVP award, the first Red Sox Red Sox player to win it since J.D. Drew in 2008. That's the first home run I've ever pimped in my life, Duran said. After receiving a warm welcome from the capacity crowd at Globe Life Field during introduction, Shohei Ohtani rose to the occasion with the game's first big blow, a three-run blast off Red Sox right-hander Tanner Hoke in the top of the third inning that traveled an estimated 400 feet to the right field bleachers. Um, Otani's one-of-a-kind suits features adorable images of his dog Decoy. Not only did it make Otani the first player to earn a win as a pitcher and hit a homer in All-Star games, but it snapped a lengthy drought of Dodgers going deep in the Midsummer Classic, spanning back to a Mike Piazza homer off Charles Nagy in the 1996 game. In general, I haven't really hit well during the All-Star game, so I'm just relieved that I put a good ball in play, Otani said, through interpreter Will Ireton. The American League provided an immediate answer with a two-run double by Juan Soto and an RBI single by David Fry in the bottom of the frame, making it the first All-Star inning in which both teams scored three or more runs since the eighth inning of the 92 contest. Number four, Miller flashes filthy stuff. What's one level above Heat, Thunder, something else? A's rookie sensation Mason Miller is forcing us to wonder these things. It took Miller only four pitches to dispatch Shohei Ohtani in the fifth inning with a scarily methodical strikeout. Two fastballs, four cold strikes at 100.6 miles per hour and 101.8 miles per hour for the first two strikes, followed by a wipeout slider at 89.2 miles per hour that got a flail and miss from the slugger, who had hit a pitch 400 feet for a homer in his previous plate appearance. And then Miller actually outdid even that by hurling the hardest track pitch in All-Star game history, 103.6 miles per hour ball to Trey Turner that rocketed him past Aroldis Chapman, 103.4 miles per hour in 2015 to the top of the leaderboard. What can a hitter even do about that? Trey Turner said. The 25-year-old threw four pitches at 102 miles per hour or harder in his two strikeout inning. There have been only 8 such pitches ever tracked in an All-Star game entering Tuesday. Mike number 5, mic'd up Trey Flash's letter. The bottom of the second inning proved a prescient, time for the Fox television broadcast to have three Philadelphia Phillies on the mic, and at shortstop, Trey Turner proved that he can multitask. When Vladimir Guerrero Jr. sliced a ground ball up the middle with one out, Turner ranged to his left, stabbed at the ball with his glove as he laid out, and made a backhanded flip from the dirt to second baseman Ketel Marte as teammate Bryce Harper hooted and hollered over the live commentary. Let's go. Are you kidding? Are you kidding me? Let's go, he yelled. Turner was feeling the effects of the play a bit because it turned out he prioritized flashiness over comfort. I need my little league belt back, Turner said. This belt's too nice. I usually wear little league belts that are elastic so that when I drive, I don't kill myself. I'm trying to wear a show belt for the boys today. Number 6, um, Classe joins very elite club. Emmanuel Classe watched Miller set velocity records. He thought back to when he was approaching those velocities himself years ago. But Classe still hit triple digits 8 times in 13 pitches as he closed out the victory to become only the 5th pitcher to record multiple saves in All-Star games, joining Mariano Rivera, Dennis Eckersley, Mel Harder, and Bruce Sutter. I feel really, really proud that the manager gave me that confidence because this is something really important for me in my career, and I know how important this game is, Class A said. Number 7, stand up to cancer, an emotional moment that has become a core part of MLB's national events. The end of the 5th inning brought a collective moment of reflection, remembrance, and honor of family and friends as a sold out Globe Life Field crowd of 39,343 stood along. Damn it. Sheesh. Why is it always doing that? Yeah, stood along. Wait, hold on. Stood along with players, coaches, umpires, broadcasters, and staff holding play cards with messages or names of loved ones. Going green, number 8. Two greens entered the battle, both first round draft picks, both top prospects who debuted within 3 months of each other in 2022, and only one could emerge victorious. That was the Reds' Hunter Green, who induced a flyout to center by the Tigers' Riley Green to begin the 5th inning. Fun fact, they represent 2/3 of all Greens to ever make an ALNL All-Star game, joining Shane Green in 2019. Number 9, Salvi leads Royal contingent. Salvador Perez led a group of 4 players representing the Royals while earning the distinction of making his 9th Midsummer Classic, the most among active catchers and the most among any 24 All-Star. Along 6 catchers have made more All-Star teams, and all but one of them, Yadier Molina, are all in the Hall of Fame. Pudge Rodriguez, Yogi Berra, Mike Piazza, Johnny Bench, and Carlton Fisk. To make it more special, Perez got to catch teammates Cole Reagans and Seth Lugo, giving the Royals 2 full All-Star batteries in the game. And as an added bonus, hometown kid and home run derby runner up Bobby Witt Jr. man shortstop for those innings too. All right, so that was your recap of the All-Star break. Let's go to Luis Severino. All right. And this is from Yahoo Sports. In some ways, Luis Severino motivation sits one chair over inside the Mets clubhouse. The veteran right-hander envies one thing in particular about Sean Manaea. Yeah, Sean Manaea. Both pitchers are in their ninth seasons in Major League Baseball, but it's Manaea who recently eclipsed the 1,000 strikeout plateau. Congrats to Sean Manaea. Um, Despite the same amount of time in the league, Manaea has thrown 261 and one-third more innings than Severino. Wow. At the signing a 1 year $13 million deal with the Mets in the offseason, Severino had one clear mindset: I need to keep throwing. The Mets bet on Severino's renaissance, and he has delivered. One moment. Trying to get my sound effects in order. With a clearer mindset and a deeper repertoire, Severino has been the most dependable starting pitcher for the Mets this season. He's already surpassed his innings total from last season, posting a 5.2 record with a 3.42 ERA and 1.16 WHIP in 16 starts and 97 and one-third innings. Okay, interesting. End quote. We both want the same thing. We want him to get back to his elite self, and we believe that he can be that pitcher. Mets pitching coach Jeremy Hefner said, and he has so far been that pitcher again, and so that's all it is. And he's been great. He's great with his teammates too. So that's been really fun to watch, and it's been an absolute pleasure. A checkered past with injuries, including a rotator cuff injury in 2019, Tommy John surgery in 2020, and lat and oblique strains in 2023, prompted a realization for Severino. With an eye on going deeper in games, Severino refined his sinker, added a sweeper, and embraced pitching to contact. So let's get into Luis Severino's sinker. For as long as Luis Torrens has known him, Severino has been a dominating and mature presence on the mound. The battery grew up together as they broke in as teenagers in the Yankee system back in 2012 and 2013. Now, after more than 7 years away from the same organization, the pitcher and catcher have joined forces once again with the Mets. Torrens has seen Severino's arsenal grow from about 3 pitches fastball, changeup, slider to this year's iteration, which includes a sinker and sweeper. It's the confidence he has on the mound, Terrence said. Obviously, many years ago, he was really young and just good velo. But now he still has good velo, which is short for velocity. But 8 or 9 years in the show, he's more experienced. The presence he has on the mound is something that is good. Severino saw the sinker as his key to getting deeper in games. So he worked on that pitch throughout the offseason. After throwing that pitch just 2.8% of the time last season, Severino has upped that usage to 26.8% in 2024, his second most heavily used pitch behind his 96 miles per hour fastball. That has helped him produce a 50.3 ground ball rate, which is in the top 18% of MLB and his career best mark. Hefner said the sinker has helped Severino limit walks and keep righties from diving in on his fastball or slider. For me, every time I throw it, it's either going to be in my spot or it's going to miss inside, Severino said. I'm not afraid that it's going I'm not afraid it's gonna go to the middle. It's been a pitch that I've worked on for a little bit since the off season, location wise, and we've been in the bullpen. I tried to aim it like it's gonna be in every time. Jeremy Hefner's wish. Severino finally feels equipped to handle whatever a start throws his way. If Severino does not feel his sweeper, he can turn to his slider or cutter. He can go to either he could go to the changeup to add another wrinkle off his fastball. His sweeper has been his best strikeout pitch this season, producing a 34.6 whiff rate and 132 opposing batting average. But it's also a pitch with such severe movement that Severino needs to feel strong about it on any given day before he unloads it. I just want to get on the top of the ball. Don't rush myself to the plate, Severino said. Everything for the sweeper is mechanics. I just need to keep that in mind every time I'm on the mound. If the movement is not doing much or it's doing good, I just need to throw more strikes or do that day what the hitters are doing. Um, yeah, with Severino leaning heavily on his sinker, the dynamic has changed for the once fireballing Severino. This season, his 18.5% strikeout rate is the lowest of his career, but he's also working more than 6 innings per start this season. A much needed trait for a rotation that is 18th in MLB in innings pitched. While Severino's XSLG is down from 496 to 365 year after year, Hefner knows there is still room to get opponents' barrels off the ball. I think they meant ERA. Well, no, that's different. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's different. Sorry about that. It's a balance, right? Like I would like for him to be striking out more guys, but there is something to say about pitch efficiency and going deep in games, Hefner said. But more balls in play. You are susceptible to batted ball luck. I think we're walking that line. Love the ground balls, love all that, but also like, all right, we can find a punch out or two in games. Finding a way to stay on the mound. Severino has always had trouble sleeping, but
never thought anything about it. He still felt he was able to throw hard deep in games, but as his injuries mounted and with the new pitch clock in play, he began to see his lack of sleep as problematic and sought out a sleep doctor prior to the season. And he says, in quote, "It doesn't matter if I'm tired or not, but it's more about trying to be healthy for a full year," Severino said. "I think not sleeping. I go out there and throw hard and do it the next day and the next day. But my body's gonna feel like, oh, something's not good. But right now, everything that I'm doing every 5 days, I'm back to normal again." Severino, who has also said he's had a better diet this season, is on pace to match his 18 starts from last season before the All-Star break. And he's chiseled his ERA nearly in half while notching one more win so far. He's in contention to earn his third All-Star selection. Well, that didn't really happen, but anyway, that can be credited to Severino's changes heading into 20 to the 2024 season. Now he's seeing the rewards. Our performance staff has done an incredible job of getting him to feel right and feel good day in and day out so he can work in the latter inning. And he does feel good in games, Hefner said. Um, almost none, almost none of the credit should be given to me. It's all Sevy. It's all of our performances. People have done an incredible job. All right, so more on Sevy, actually. Yeah, more on Sevy. Let's get to another one, actually. And what makes him so dominant, according to the New York Post, um, Luis Severino needs to wait. Hold on. Last month, after learning he wouldn't get to face the Yankees in the Subway Series, the the Mets right-hander had one of his sharpest performances of the season against the Cubs. And Saturday, after he was again denied the wish of facing his former team, the Mets plan to start lefties Jose Quintana and Sean Manaea against the Yankees this week. Instead, Severino was again super. The Mets needed every bit of it on a day their lineup was virtually silenced in a one zip victory over the Marlins at Lone Depot Park. Severino, with his four-seam fastball humming, it averaged 96.9 miles per hour, um, allowed only two hits over six shutout innings with seven strikeouts, three walks, and a hit batter. Severino hit 99 miles per hour with a fastball in his final inning. Yeah, I always have a little extra in the tank when I need it, Severino said. The outing was his best since his gem against the Cubs on June 23rd, in which he struck out 10 and didn't walk a batter over six shutout innings. Before that start, Severino had been switched in the rotation, preventing him from pitching against the Yankees. "I think we should play another Subway Series," Severino said. Behind Severino on this day, the Mets 50 wins to 47 losses, uh, received a scoreless inning apiece from Jose Budo, Daniel Nunez, who's in the injured list, had coming back. I'll do an update on that one. Um, and Edwin Diaz. Diaz returning to the scene of his biggest meltdown this season, retired all three batters he faced for the save. In a game here, May 18th, the right-hander squandered a four-run lead in the ninth, and the Mets lost in the 10th inning. Afterward, the slugging Diaz was removed from the closer's role as he looked to regain his confidence. Marlins starter Munoz frustrated the Mets over 5 innings, allowing 3 hits and 3 walks with a hit batter. Munoz allowed the game's only run. Um, Pete Alonso's double leading off the fourth helped the Mets score that run. After Alonso doubled to left, Mark Vientos got plunked, and DJ Stewart walked to load the bases. And of course, by the way, he got sent down to AAA, which is um I want to say shocking, but it's a little stunning actually. But it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Francisco Alvarez hit a grounder that Xavier Edwards gloved and flipped to second base for the second out, with Alonso scoring. But the Mets couldn't expand on the one zip lead as Jeff McNeil hit a line drive off the bat at 101.1 miles per hour that first baseman Josh Bell snared to end the inning. Alonso's throwing error in the bottom of the inning gave the Marlins a rally with runners on the first and second and 1 out, but Severino navigated the threat by turning Nick Gordon's comebacker into a fielder's choice and striking out Edwards. The Marlins also had threatened against Severino in the first when Bell walked with 2 outs and Jake Berger singled. But Severino retired Jesus Sanchez to escape. Manager Carlos Mendoza visited the mound after Severino walked Otto Lopez in the sixth to put runners on first and second with 2 outs. Severino was allowed to remain in the game and after throwing a wild pitch, struck out Gordon to end the inning. I was pretty confident that I was going to leave him out there, but I wanted to get his take, Mendoza said. I saw the velocity he was still holding up and the way he was executing pitches. I knew he wanted it, and I wanted to make sure that was the case. As soon as I got there, he was like, "Give me this one." Severino said he could tell Mendoza's intentions by the way the manager was walking to the mound and his facial expressions. I knew he wasn't going to take me out, Severino said. Mendoza said he's proud of the manner in which Severino has performed this season, serving as the Mets ace. Injuries derailed Severino in his final seasons with the Yankees. He's had to work really hard, especially everything he's been through the past couple years, Mendoza said. For him to be in the position now, and we're going to continue to need him. He's continuing to put in the work, and we're just proud of him. Yeah, of course. Of course, he should be proud. All the hard work that he does, um, that really counts for something. All right, that really counts for something. Um, let's see. What else can we talk about here? Oh, speaking of recaps, man. Let's take a look at the recaps of the games the Mets played. All right, starting with the Rockies. All right. No, wait. Not the Rockies, but they did. Hang on a minute here. So let's see. Let me see. So, in that particular game, of course, Iglesias and Bader both homered twice to help surging Mets hold off Rockies 7-6. Jose Iglesias and Harrison Bader each hit two of New York's season best 5 home runs, and the surging Mets held off the last place Colorado Rockies 7-6 on Friday night. Very interesting. Let's see. Let's do a recap, man. You know what I mean? Yeah, Mark Vientos also went deep and drilled an RBI double as the Mets they were 48-45, improved to 4 zip on a 6-game homestand against the struggling Nationals and Rockies leading into the All-Star break. New York has won 6 of their 7 overall, improving to 24-10 since it was 11 games under 500 on June 2nd. The ability to rebound is what this team has done extremely well, Bader said. It's just a hungry group again on all sides of the ball. New York's Power Parade had a giddy crowd of 28,852 buzzing and dancing at Citi Field, where the Mets play. Iglesias' catchy hit song, Oh My God, which is OMG, after every home run. His music video was added to the mix on the giant scoreboard Friday, too. I got totally surprised, Iglesias said. So it was pretty cool. Sharmanai threw 74 of his season high 107 pitches for strikes over 7 effective innings, striking out 9 to win his 3rd straight decision. For him to go 7, that tells us he's in a good spot, not only physically but mentally, manager Carlos Mendoza said. Minaya left with a 7-3 lead, but New York's shaky bullpen barely held on. Charlie Blackmon homered against Jake Diekman to start the 8th, and Brandon Doyle shaved it to 7-6 with a 2-run shot off Phil Matan. In between, Iglesias left his feet at third base to snare Elias Diaz's 109.4 miles per hour line drive, which got struck in the webbing of his glove. Edwin Diaz finally shut the door, working around consecutive 2-out walks in a hitless ninth for his 10th save in 15 tries. With 2 runners aboard, he struck out Ezekiel Tovar to end it. That's what we love about our guys is they don't quit, Rockies manager Bud Black said. Good experience for all our guys. It was spirited, but in the end, we just didn't get it done. Brandon Rogers also homered for Colorado to snap an 0 for 19 slump, and Michael Toglia had a 2-run shot. It was a good fight, Rogers said. That's a really good closer. We battled. Mendoza was ejected by plate umpire Jeremy Rehack after a frustrated Iglesias got called out on strikes in the 7th. The 34-year-old Iglesias, a surprising spark plug for the Mets since they called him up from the minors May 31st, launched solo shots in the 2nd and 5th to reach 50 career homers with his first multi-homer game. Bader hit a solo drive in the 2nd and a 2-run shot in the 4th for his second multi-homer game. The other one came with St. Louis in September 2019. Both drives Friday came off rookie Tanner Gordon, who gave up 4 long balls in his second big league start. The right-hander allowed 6 runs and 8 hits in 3+ innings. Vientos and Iglesias hit consecutive homers in the 2nd the fourth time the Mets have gone back-to-back this season. Bader's drive one batter later gave New York 3-run home runs in an inning for the first time since July 1st, 2023 against San Francisco. Um, it's just a really flexible lineup, Bader said. I think we just feed off of the information that we see up there. We're very vocal in the dugout. Those are the best types of lineups. Production anywhere is great, but obviously having it at the bottom of your lineup, I think, is pretty cool. Trainer's room. Rockies right-handed pitcher Herman Marquez threw a bullpen session and is scheduled to start Sunday in his return from Tommy John surgery. Marquez hasn't pitched in the majors since April 26, 2023. First base outfielder Chris Bryant bruised left rib, took batting practice indoors and increased the intensity of his strength and conditioning workout. He is expected to begin a minor league rehab assignment next Friday, right after the All-Star break. Blackman returned to the lineup as the DH after missing 3 games with a sore right hamstring. Left fielder Nolan Jones' back tightness was scratched from the lineup and replaced by Sam Hilliard. I'm gonna save the Christian Scott and Sean Reed Foley injury, the Fujinami getting DFA'd, and all that stuff for the next episode. So I'm gonna save that for another time. And let's get to it's crazy, man. Let's get to the game that I watched actually. So let's see. All right, Francisco Lindor homered twice. Jeff McNeil also went deep, and the New York Mets beat the Miami Marlins 6-4 on Monday night. McNeil had 3 RBI as the Mets split the 4-game series against the National League's worst team, New York, 51-48. It's 5-5 versus Miami this season. It's not easy to hit them here. Even poolside, Lindor said, "It's baseball. I guess the ball was flying for me. It was a good day." Mets starter David Peterson permitted 2 runs and 6 hits in 5 innings. The left-hander walked 4 and struck out 4. I felt I did some good things and some things that will get better at, said Peterson, who had not pitched since July 11th. You get back in your routine as quick as you can and get the second half rolling. Jose Butto relieved Peterson and allowed 1 run over 2 innings. Phil Maton worked a perfect 8th, aided by a diving catch from center fielder Harrison Bader. Down 6-3, the Marlins rallied against closer Edwin Diaz in the 9th when Nick Gordon hit a 1-out single, and Jazz Chisholm Jr., who's been traded to the Yankees, walked. Brian De La Cruz followed with a dribbler that Diaz fielded, but he looked at second where nobody was covering before throwing soft and late to first, loading the bases. Josh Bell grounded out, scoring Gordon and advancing Chisholm and De La Cruz as McNeil made a tough play at second base. Diaz retired Jake Berger on a pop-up for the 12th save and in 17 tries. They created some traffic, but He kept making pitches, Mets manager Carlos Mendoza said of Diaz. I like how he continued to mix the fastball and slider. He got the job done. Marlins manager Skip Schumacher was ejected by plate umpire Rob Drake for arguing balls and strikes after the eighth inning. Rob's a good umpire. He's been around a long time, Schumacher said. It's nothing personal. I just felt like he had to know what I felt. McNeil's two-run shot in the second put the Mets ahead 2-zip. He drove the first pitch from Marlins starter Yanni Chirinos into the second deck of the right field seats for his eighth homer and third of the series. I know the Pirates there just kind of searching for some hits and abandoned that a little bit, McNeil said. There's still a time and a place for poke the ball the other way and put the ball in play. Different approaches for different times. The Marlins narrowed the gap on Vital Bruhan's RBI double in the second before McNeil's sacrifice fly and Lindor's solo homer in the fourth made it 4-1. New York padded its lead with Chirinos plunked Jose Iglesias with the bases loaded in the fifth. Solo shots from Bell in the fifth and De La Cruz in the seventh got Miami within 5-3. Lindor ended a string of 12 one-third scoreless innings by Marlins reliever in the series when he connected off JT Chargois with another solo homer in the ninth. Chirinos gave up 5 runs and 9 hits with 4 walks in 5 innings. And yes, I'm not gonna read the trainer's room. No, I'm not gonna do that. And speaking of Iglesias, man, let's talk about the man who is also a music artist, by the way. He has the "Oh My God" song out right now. I've heard it while I was watching TV. And I have to say, man, that song is a vibe. It's a vibe, man. Yes, it is. And yeah, so according to Sporting News, America's Game is teaming with melodies from the Hans Zimmer's like explosion when back hits his ball to the dulcet tone of an outfielder giving chase to a wounded dove in shallow center field. If Casey weren't at the bat, he very well could have been in the recording studio instead. Wait a minute, what is this? Yeah, music and baseball are inextricably linked. Batters strut toward home plate, soundtracked by their hand-picked song of choice, while the seventh-inning stretch is defined not by the physical release of years of tension through contortion, rather by stirring renditions of "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." It's in this context that the shadowy musical talent Candelita, aka Jose Iglesias, was cultivated. His identity goes undetected beyond the masses of baseball fans lining up during his performances, but his mere existence presupposes the value of musicality in the sport which he loves so dearly, baseball. Um, so just who is Candelita, and just why is his music making waves at MLB games of all places? Who is Candelita? Candelita is the stage name of Mets infielder Jose Iglesias. A big league veteran, Iglesias has always had an interest in creating Latin pop. The Cuban American revealed that he became interested in the craft shortly after defecting from Cuba as an 18-year-old. Over the years, he has entrenched himself into a number of musical networks, forming a close knit bond with Latin music superstar Mark Anthony, among others. The two are so tight, in fact, that Iglesias and Anthony sport matching tattoos on their forearms. Iglesias has invested ample time and money into the venture, standing on the shoulders of big leaguers past who have moonlit as musicians in their free time, including Bernie Williams, Barry Zito, and Deion Sanders. I love music, Iglesias said per MLB.com. That's what I do in my downtime, in my hotels, in my travels. I write songs. It's pretty cool. It's something fun that I really enjoy doing. Iglesias has produced a series of high-profile tunes as of late, none more than not none more notable than OMG, which is Oh My God, a steel drum infused banger that has taken the internet by storm in recent weeks. The track, released on June 28th, has garnered more than 300,000 plays on both Spotify and YouTube. It's also taking Iglesias to the top of the Mets charts. He was tasked with performing the ditty in front of the New York faithful after its release. The man's doing it right now, Mets first baseman Pete Alonso said per MLB.com. We love to have him. He's a great guy. He deserves all the success on the field and off the field with his music career. Candelita ONG lyrics in English. It seems Candelita is spreading a message of peace and prosperity with his most high profile tune, with ONG's lyrics aiming to uplift disciples of the Mets utility man's music. Yeah, you know what? I'm not gonna read the lyrics. Y'all more than welcome to actually hear the lyrics for yourselves. So I'm not gonna do that actually. So I'll leave that to the music listeners out there. Candelita means small candle in English. It can also be considered somewhat um, ana- analogous to a firecracker, perhaps a testament to Iglesias' style of play on the diamond. Yeah, I heard his ONG song had reached number one. That's pretty dope, man. I want to make some noise for Jose Iglesias, aka Candelita, man, for you know for creating that song. Anytime a Mets player hits a home run, that song plays and everybody's dancing, everybody's vibing to the song and stuff. You know what I mean? It's very exciting. So let's make some noise for Candelita, aka Jose Iglesias. All right. Okay. Up next. Let's see. Um, let's see. Let's see. What else? What else? Let me make sure I um didn't miss out on. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, the Mets take 2 out of 3 from the Marlins. I just talked about that too. Let's see. Yes. Yes, we can go over the New York Mets prospect 2024 midseason top 30, and we can go over the Hall of Fame making room in the team store, and then we can go to, and yes, also a little side note, the Mets swept the San Diego Padres as well. Um, so, and then we'll talk about the man behind the OMG signs. So let's get to the prospects 2024 midseason top 30. Let's talk about that. See what y'all think about this. Um, all right, so all right, let me see how much time we got here. Yeah, we can pull this off. Yes, yes, yes. So, according to, let me see, according to Baseball America. All right, so this is the New York Mets prospects 2024 season top 30 update. Okay, starting with, so we're gonna talk about Jet Williams. All right, so Jet Williams, Drew Gilbert, and Ryan Mauricio, who is out for the season with a knee injury. The Mets top 3 position prospects play sparingly, if at all, in the first half because of injuries, but steps forward from multiple pitchers helped the farm system hold serve. Right-hander Christian Scott dominated AAA competition and made a successful MLB debut. Meanwhile, a trio of pitchers from the past 2 drafts showcased power stuff at the upper levels and rocketed up the mid-season top 10 prospects ranking. Overall, Mets pitching development has improved by leaps and bounds. The organization's cumulative ERA for full season affiliates improved from number 22 in 2023 to middle of the pack this year, but it goes deeper than that. The Mets were excited to have rotation depth at the upper levels for what feels like the first time in ages. Scott, Jose Buto, Blade Tidwell, Mike Vassell, and Dominic Hamill formed the AAA Syracuse rotation at the end of June, with Brandon Sproat and Nolan McLean waiting in the wings at Double A Binghamton. Baseball America subscribe. Yeah, I'm not even gonna go through all that. Nah, we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. So that's pretty much what that is. Hold on a second. Yeah, that's pretty much what that is. So yeah, I think that's about it. Let's see. Let's see. What else can we talk about here? Yes. Mets Hall of Fame makes room for team store. Let's get into it right here. I'm actually gonna, yeah, yeah. All right, so the New York Mets Hall of Fame, which was located just beyond the Jackie Robinson Rotunda within Citi Field's main entrance, has made way for a larger team store. The memorabilia from the team's Hall of Fame, which featured game used artifacts, the club's 2 World Series trophies, and plaques of its inductees, will be spread around the park. A prominent space for some of that memorabilia will be located in the former Fan Fest location out in center field, while the plaques are featured on a brick column atop the escalator taking fans from the main entrance to the field level. Moving the museum allowed the team to double the size of its main store, now measuring approximately 7,000 square feet from its previous dimensions next to the Hall of Fame in the Jackie Robinson Rotunda. Fan essentials such as hats, jerseys, shirts, and collectibles will be available when Citi Field opens its doors for the first time this season. This season, um, and the store will also introduce an RFID checkout system, allowing fans to put their items in bins that instantly scan their gear before prompting a credit card tap for a quick exit. The Mets unveiled much of Citi Field's new improvements and additions on Thursday. So, yeah, that's pretty dope, man. That is pretty dope. I never been to that store before in City Field. I never really got a chance to, I got to explore City Field one time, but I didn't get to explore the stores actually, which is pretty interesting. So yeah, that's pretty dope right there, and I bet you it's a lot of fun too. Let me say how proud I am to be a New York Mets fan. Because I'm gonna tell you something right now, man. They don't give up without a fight. They don't like to give up without a fight, though, man. And I'll say this though. I will say this. And the crazy thing is, they are 57 and 51, and they are about 5 games back from the San Diego Padres. Um, well, they were close to the Atlanta Braves. They were on top, but Atlanta knocked them down actually to second. Now they in fourth on the wild card. That's crazy, man. So San Diego 58-51. San Diego Padres. The Arizona Diamondbacks is 58-51, 532. ATL Atlanta Braves is 58-49. So the Mets are close to 58 wins. So they're close. They're not out of it. They're still in the wild card. They went from having a disastrous year into rebounding and changing the course of 2024. That's what makes me so proud of them. Regardless if they're 5 games back, regardless if they're 5 games back, um, at least they made it to the wild card. That's what makes me so proud of them. Um, as we take a look, oh shit, that's not what I meant to do. Hang on 1 second. Yeah, it's crazy, right? So yeah, that's pretty interesting right now. Anyway, anyway, shouts to the New York Mets for making it to the wild card, man. The only issue is the fucking Braves. You know what I mean? The fucking Braves. And I will say, me, I'm about to look up their schedule anyway. Um, I'm about to look up their schedule. Let me look up their schedule, but before I do that, let me make sure I cover the bases. Yeah, I'm gonna look up their schedule right now so you folks at home that's listening can know. Okay, let's take a look at the Mets. schedule. All right, so I'm gonna take a look at their schedule. So they're going to be in Los Angeles playing against the Angels on Friday, August the 2nd, 9:38 p.m. Also 9:38 p.m. Wait. Also 9:38 p.m. on wait. Hold on a minute here. Hold on 1 second. Maybe I need to get a better look at the calendar instead. I think the calendar version will be better for me so I can know the days of the week. All right. Okay. Wait for it. I just want to look at the calendar, man. If there's a way to look at the calendar, I just want to look at the calendar. Okay. Is there a way I can look at the calendar? It's got to be a calendar version I could actually look at. Actually, you know what? 2024 regular schedule season. There's a calendar. There's a way for me to look at the calendar. Oh boy. You know what? I'll just do it like this. So, they got a tough road game actually. So yeah, I was right. So Friday, August 2nd, 9:38 p.m. they play against the Los Angeles Angels. 9:38, same time as Saturday. 9:38, August 4th, 4:07 p.m. They have a makeup game with the St. Louis Cardinals because that one game got rained out. And they are in Colorado from Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. 8:40 p.m. August 6th. Same time, August the 7th. 8:40 p.m. That's going to be on SNY. I want to make sure. Yeah. All these games are on SNY actually. So SNY. So here we go. Friday they are in Seattle, 10:10 p.m. 9:40 p.m. on Saturday, August the 10th, and the game's going to be on Pix 11. And Sunday, August 11th, 7:10 p.m. They're going to be on ESPN. So yeah, I'm going to keep this so you guys could actually get a better idea on the Mets schedule. So I'm going to actually keep that in there. So let's go into the man who made the OMG signs. Okay. Okay. So, um, all right. So the man behind the OMG signs. Okay. The Mets have celebrated home runs using Jose Iglesias' song OMG, which is Oh My God, for quite some time. Um, for quite some time. But they've added a new wrinkle to the festivities. Fans may have noticed a giant oh my God sign in the dugout during Friday's win. Whenever a Met hit a homer or whenever a member of the team felt like it, the orange and blue OMG sign was hoisted in the air and handed to the home run hitter to pose with it. SNY Steve Gelbs got to the bottom of where the sign came from and how it got to the Mets dugout during Saturday's broadcast. Per Gelb's report, the OMG sign was created by an artist who goes by the name J. Mac Customs. He makes custom signs and was inspired by the spark that Iglesias and the song had created within the team. So he took a screenshot of the OMG shirt that Alex Cohen posted on her social media and began to create the sign. With the sign in hand, J Mac was at the K corner on Friday before the game, and as Cohen happened to walk in, he asked her if she could give it to Iglesias, and Cohen agreed as long as he wore a note to accompany it. She gave the sign to someone to bring it to the clubhouse, but when Iglesias could not be found, it was left in it was left at his locker. When Iglesias saw it, he didn't know how it got there, but his Mets teammates thought the veteran infielder had it made and thanked him because they were looking for something to celebrate home runs in the dugout with. Of course, the home run celebrations around MLB have become very elaborate. Whether it's holding a trident in Seattle or wearing a samurai hat in Anaheim, it's become a tradition in baseball to celebrate the long ball in extravagant ways. J. Mac Customs did not know if Iglesias received the sign until he was texted by friends during Friday's game that the Mets not only received the OMG sign but were using it. Incredibly grateful to Alex Cohen for taking my gift to them before tonight's game. He wrote on social media during the game, not planned, just wanted to bless a pivotal clubhouse guy for his mark on the team. Yeah, yeah. Shouts to J Mac Customs. And good job, Steve Girls, for getting to the bottom of the ONG signs. I was really curious about that when I saw that. I was like, yeah. I really wanted to know where that came from. And yeah, that's pretty much what that is right there, folks. But I gotta say, man, the OMG sign is fucking lit. The song is lit. you know, the song is so lit though, man. Like, I didn't even know they had the T-shirt of it, but I'm not sure where they sell it, but um, you know, I'll have to look for it after I get off the air. So we'll see. We'll see what happens though, man. Um, so yeah, that's pretty dope, man. That's very dope. Um, that's very dope right there, man. Um, and so this is the episode. What are some things to expect for the New York Mets? So there are some things to expect for the New York Mets. They actually made a comeback season turnaround they were from 10 games below 500 to being above 500. They're like 7 games. They're like 7 to 8 games above 500. That's the most biggest accomplishment that the Mets have ever done. And yes, the Mets are buyers, which I will talk about in the next episode. So I will do a little teaser in terms of what I'm going to be discussing involving that. So let's see how much time we got here, so I don't lose track. All right. I think I'm gonna wrap up here, man. I think I'm going to really wrap up here because this has been an interesting, fun episode. I really, I'm glad I was able to cover the OMG song and the sign and where it came from. And shouts to Steve Gelbs and all the other teams and stuff. The Mets team being above 500 and all that great stuff right there. And that's what makes me proud to be a New York Mets fan. So there you have it right there. So there you go. As we wrap up here, I'm going to actually make sure, let me just make sure I grab this. Yes. All right, we're going to wrap up here. We're going to wrap up here, actually. So we're going to go into stream choices on the go, man. All right. This is where I tell you some places where you can actually listen to episodes, listen, stream, and watch the episodes on every streaming platform and my link tree and all that other stuff. So let's get into it right here. Stream choices on the go. Let's go. Yo, make sure you follow Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks podcast. Yes, fun, not from, fun. Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks podcast on Threads. And alongside with my other podcast shows, including myself, Meticulous Vibe Juice podcast, the review show that I do, and of course, Off the Meat Rat Chains NY podcast, which is Off the Meat Rat Chains New York Avenue podcast, and of course, G Money Stacks 555 in Queens, New York, which is the same as the one on Threads and Instagram. So make sure you turn on your notifications. I will do some recapping on the sports topics in the future. I didn't get a chance to do that because I had an issue with a pop-up with the Instagram. So not Instagram, but I had a pop-up in regards to a scammer trying to rip me off out of my own hard-earned money and shit. So, I'm gonna just put it to you like this, though, man. I'm not letting no scammer trying to rip me off out of my hard-earned money, and neither should you, folks. That was fucking insane. Anyway, turn on your notifications. Turn on your notifications for postings and when I'm going to be. I don't know. All right. By the time I get myself a new Android tablet, I should be back on Instagram Live and all that stuff right there. So, I don't know when I'm going to get me a new Android tablet. So, to be determined, folks. Anyway, Anyway, so if you go into the Linktree link, it's going to say Linktree / excellent fun vibrant talks pod. That's excellent fun vibrant talks pod. And when you click on it, you're going to see a whole list of stream platforms where you can listen, stream, and watch new episodes whatsoever, starting with Odyssey, Audible, Amazon Music, Breaker, Bullhorn FM, Castbox FM, Deezer, Listen Notes, Moon FM Podcast, Overhaul FM Podcast, Player FM, Pocket Cast, Podfriend, Podhound, Podo Polo, Podorama, Podcast Index, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Podverse, Podcast Guru, Podvine, Snip, Spotify for podcasters, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, and of course, newly added, latest added app, which is Fountain, Radio Public, iHeartRadio, the #1 app where you listen to music, radio, and podcast episodes for free. You don't need a debit card or credit card to download iHeartRadio and any of the apps that I just mentioned. All right. Of course, be sure to subscribe on every streaming platform, including iHeartRadio and of course YouTube. Make sure you grab the subscribe button for me on the sports YouTube channel page. Excellent, fun, vibrant talks podcast. All right. Leave a like and a comment along with the sports topics in this episode. Tell me what you think and all that great stuff. And of course, whatever you want me to cover regarding the Mets and all that other stuff, I'm already going to touch on the trade deadline highlights and the Jesse Winker and all that great stuff in the next episode. So, and be sure to listen, stream, and watch these new episodes. And of course, be sure to add the podcast to your playlist. And of course, enable alerts so you'll be notified on new episodes dropping. All right. Tell a friend to another friend and spread the word. Word of mouth is important. Of course, you can share my link tree that has Linktree / excellent fun vibrant talks pod to your husbands, your wives, your boyfriends, girlfriends, people you are cool with from work and everywhere else in between. And of course, you can also listen to the episodes whether you are going and coming from work. You can even listen to it in your car on your leisure time. You can even listen to it on your day off from work and all that good stuff right there. So there you have it right there, folks. That's going to do it. That's going to do it, man. And let me fill you in on some Mets fanatics who are also covering the New York Mets. Before I get up out of here. Of course, let's get into some YouTube channels right here. You got the Shades and Sons podcast, Till Mets Do His Part, Subway to Shade podcast by Anthony Rivera, who's also in the New York Mets Evening Brew podcast. You can also subscribe to the Morning Brew Sports Network, created by Hector. Shouts to him. And that channel also covers the New York Knicks, the New York Liberty. It covers basketball, football, all that great stuff right there, man. So you can check that YouTube channel out. That's Morning Brew Sports Network. Subscribe over there. Yes, subscribe. Like I said, subscribe to the YouTube channels by Mets content creators who also have a podcast, Shades and Sons podcast, Till Mets Do His Part, Subway is Shade by Anthony Rivera. You can also see him on the New York Mets Evening Brew podcast, of course. Empire State of Baseball podcast, Shea Station, Locked on Mets podcast by Ryan Finkelstein, Mets Up podcast, Believe in the Mets, CP's Mets and Knicks, Meet at the Apple podcast, Future the Flushing podcast, Trevor Made Baseball Mayday. You can also check out the Sick podcast, Mets Magic by Jake Brown. Mets Weekly, the Mets Pod by Connor Rogers and the other co-host. I can't pronounce his last name. Oh, Joe DeMayo's. My apologies. Yeah, Joe DeMayo. My apologies. Mets podcast, We Gotta Believe, the Call Up and MLB Prospect podcast, and of course, Top Bunk Sports. All these YouTube channels that I just mentioned, make sure you check them out. And so you don't miss out on anything, whether it's trades, whether it's the off season, whether it's like, the pregame, postseason, no, excuse me, post game games and stuff. Make sure you don't miss out on that whatsoever. And yeah, that's it for me, man. I'm your man, G Money Stacks, aka the Greginator. Thank you very much for listening to episode 77 of Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks podcast. Yes, Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks podcast. All right, the sports edition show and everything else that we cover, which is baseball, basketball, football, you just name it in between. I'll be covering that. So remember, the grind doesn't stop. Hard work pays off. If you want something, you have to work hard and earn it. Plus, you want to make sure you find your niche. Make sure you find something that makes you happy. And of course, if you're going to create a podcast, whether it's in sports or sports, comedy, entertainment, whatever it may be, man. Hold up. Yeah, sorry about that, folks. I had to put this on mute because of the flying, noisy planes. All right, so like I was saying, man, if you plan on making a podcast, whether it's in sports like baseball, basketball, football, comedy, entertainment, whatever you're trying to cover whatsoever, be sure to have consistency. Be confident in your craft and the topics that you are trying to cover. Don't let anyone tell you. Don't let anyone tell you if you're doing video content or whatever that it's not a podcast. It is. A podcast does count as a podcast does count as media. All right. Whoever says a person who is making video episodes and stuff like that is not a podcast, Well, guess what? It is considered a podcast because guess what? It's under media. Now I put this on Threads a couple weeks ago. Um, that a podcast is not just audio recordings. It's also video recordings for the digital live stream of the internet. So that's pretty much what a podcast is, folks. And of course, if you plan on making a podcast, the key things that you need are some headphones, a microphone. You also need a laptop. Some some people will use their phones to do that. You can do that as well as an option. You can also you can also you can also use a hosting site that I'm using right now, which is Spotify for podcasters. Even though it has integrated with Riverside FM, I actually had to figure out how to drop off episodes and all that great stuff right there. And I managed to drop off episode 74 and 75. I will drop off episode 76 after I get off the air and all that great stuff right there. So without without with that being said, man, let me just get up out of here and drop off episode 76 for you folks out there that's listening and all that great stuff right there. So yeah, like I was going to say, find your niche, be confident in what you do creatively with your topics, creatively, mentally, physically, and spiritually, that gets you into your zone alongside with tunnel vision. All right. So I am about to sign off. Right here. And I hope y'all are enjoying the day off tomorrow. There's not going to be a Mets game. However, there is going to be a minor league game that's going to start at 6:30. I don't know if I plan on watching that shit, but we'll see. We'll see what happens though. The only reason why I'm probably not going to watch it because I may end up recording a separate podcast episode for a particular show. Which is going to be my review show, Meticulous Vibe Juice Podcast, and Off the Meat Red Chains New York Avenue Podcast. So stay tuned for those episodes and all that great stuff right there. So peace and one love, and especially to all the New York Mets fans out there, whether you are in the UK, international places, whether you are in the USA, Canada, Long Island, aka Strong Island, plus the 5 boroughs of Brooklyn, Bronx, Manhattan, Staten Island, and Queens. Be safe out there. Be careful. Enjoy yourselves at Citi Field and everything else and everything else in between. I'm out of here. Let's fucking go, Mets. Keep the momentum going and continue to stay above 500. 7 games above 500. I am proud of the Mets and their fight to being above 500. They're not going anywhere. They're not giving up without a fight. That's what I like, man. Let's keep the momentum going. Let's fucking go, Mets. Good night, everybody.